All right, well, we'll go ahead and hop into it today. So thank you, everybody, for being here. This is super exciting. It's our first ever S Collective podcast. So this is a huge step for everybody and their businesses. So super awesome to be here. But, you know, we have a giant group of people here. So let's go around and introduce yourself and the company you represent. So we'll start with you, Max.
Yeah, my name is Max Henderson. I started Henderson's Detailing about 8 or 9 years ago, and it's a mobile detailing company that mainly operates in the South Lake area, and now we're expanding out here towards Dallas.
Sweet.
Yeah, I'm Cody Smith, and I started Scuderia Smith about 9 years ago. It was a service company, and started it just to take care of my own stuff, and then people started asking me to take care of their stuff, and here we are.
Sweet.
Love it. Daniel Smith. Been in the automotive world for a long time. I guess I did PDR for 12 to 13 years, something like that, and then ended up in Cody's shop doing a dent. And I'm just a guy who won't quit. He's a guy who can make things happen. So here we are.
Nice.
I'm Silvio Zucchet. I started Safe Place Auto about 2 years ago, been working on Porsches for about 12, and just keep on going.
Heck yeah.
Kurt Smith, not related to these clowns. I started 10 Flat Detailing out of my garage in 2015. It's since grown. I was fortunate to meet Daniel and Cody, and then just build what's before you.
Sweet. So yeah, tell me the story about how y'all met and how all of this came to be. So I know it's a long story, but it only goes back, what, about 2 years ago? Well,
2
I guess
years.
for you longer, but for everybody else, kind of started about 2 years ago. So yeah, let's talk about that. How did we all end up at this table?
I'm
We're
brilliant.
still trying to figure that out. Yeah. We're still trying to figure that out.
I'm fabulous. That's how we all ended up at this table.
And I have gray hair, so you got to have a hair guy.
That's it, yeah.
Yeah, I think the answer is just it's serendipity, right? It's just it wasn't any of our plan. Of course, it's not our plan to begin with, fellers. You know, and so you know, Daniel came in to fix a dent. I mean, I can make it really short. Daniel came in to fix a dent. Said, I got a business plan. No one will listen to me. Would you listen to me? Sure, I'll listen to you. Great business plan, super smart guy, clearly has drive, clearly meets his goals and always, you know, surpasses them. So we started the PPF, you know, company, and another friend of Daniel and I's, which is a mutual friend of Kurt's, said, hey, Kurt's looking to make a change in his business, and I think you guys would get along. We had lunch on a Friday. I think by the next Friday we were partners.
Yeah.
And then we needed to revamp our service, and Kurt said, I know the guy, and had lunch with Silvio, and again, just, you know, 1 or 2 lunches, made a deal, and we needed mobile detailing. We were referring mobile detailing out to another company, and it wasn't working out, and Kurt said, I know a guy, and he walked into my office with Max one day and said, I think we should refer to Max. And I go, why would we refer to him? Why don't we just buy the company? And so that's what we did. But it's really nothing more than just recognizing opportunities as we all went along, and all of us agreeing to take a risk on one another, right?
Yeah.
That's really what it comes down to. But nothing at this table was ever forced in terms of the partnerships, right, guys? It was always what's good for everybody, what's good for the group. I mean, Daniel, Kurt, what do you?
Yeah.
Agreed.
Nailed
Couldn't
it.
have- yeah.
Nailed it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's all happened so organically, you know, and
Just
been
makes
great.
sense, yeah.
Whenever you try to force things to happen, they just come apart, right?
I think it's a learning experience for all of us, too. I mean, Cody, your background's in building businesses. My background was in the corporate world, so I was a yes man for a long time.
Yeah.
Right? And then I hated that, so I started my own thing. And so it's been a journey working with different personalities and people you basically do life with every day. But it's a fantastic journey, right? It's what being an entrepreneur is about. Right? That's why you go and do these things, is because you want that adventure. And that's what we're building and growing together as a team, as brothers, as friends, as as entrepreneurs and just pushing each other each day to be better at who we are and what we do within our own industry. So,
Yeah.
Silvio?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, you guys couldn't sum it any better. I mean, we're staying hungry, right? That's kind of what puts us all together, right? We stay hungry. We want to make it better. We see things we don't like, and we just want to do it better. And that's kind of, I think, how Cody lives it, how Daniel does it, and you do it, right? I mean, that's why we do most of this, because people suck at doing most things, so we want to do it better.
Yes. I mean,
it's so true.
you go.
That happens in every industry,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Every industry, you see the opportunity to do something better, and I think
Guy's a poet.
Yeah, what we do.
We do it better.
Silvio's a straight shooter. Gets right to the point. But the truth of the matter is we all are passionate about what we do, and there is a better way to go about it. There's a better way to treat your clients. There's a better way to handle the processes. So, and that's what we strive for.
Yeah, I think, for me, I think everybody has a bit of a different goal at the table. For me, just sharing all of the, you are the sum total of your mistakes and successes, right? So for me, it's about giving you guys the information to build your company, to build the business and all that. That's the reward for me. The money doesn't, sure, money's great, but, the reward for me is watching you guys grow and change. And I think everybody's got a bit of a different goal. Silvio's loves to go racing, and that's what he likes to do. And Kurt loves to spend time with his girls, and so that's what his drive is for. Daniel and I drive similar on the money side for our families as well. But Max, you like to travel and drink pina coladas and daiquiris and get a sunburn.
Who don't?
There we go.
But when it comes back around to it, we have one goal: pursuit of perfection that we never achieve. Right? That's really what we're doing, and it's a lot of fun to watch it all come together, and it's fun to watch everybody get mad at us that we're doing it well.
I'll add, seeing Cody and Daniel walk into the restaurant for the first time, I didn't know them, and I was like, oh God, these guys, right? And then within the first 30 seconds, I was like, oh, hold on, I'm going somewhere with this. Follow
You better
along.
be, bud. You better be.
Daniel came in with his black frame glasses, and I thought to myself, all right, there's something special here. And then within the first couple of minutes of talking to him, it was exciting because I met two other guys that are really smart and educated and passionate about what they do. I'd already known Silvio, and I've already known Max for some time. But to know that we could build something unique and different, and we have like-minded people in the same space, that's, as Cody likes to say, the juice, right? That's what gets me going in the morning. So
Yeah, I think what y'all really have going for you is that we do have so many people, and that they have different backgrounds and different specialties that y'all can put together and kind of become the ultimate place, for anything automotive. So
Well, it also gives everybody the ability to do what they do best, right?
Exactly.
Like, Kurt's not a manager. He's a salesperson, and he is a natural born, dyed in the wool, talk to everybody, love everybody, shake the hands, kiss the babies. He's a phenomenal salesperson. So coming together with us allows him to do every single day what he loves doing more than anything else.
I think it sums up even more than that. We respect each other. If you think about the team right here, every one of us respects each other for what we bring to the table. I think that's the best thing, is everybody knows their role, their position, and we allow each other to just flourish in that.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
Yeah, Silvio, you want to teach your guys how to be better mechanics. You like mentoring, that sort of thing.
just taking people to the track
Yeah.
on the weekends.
Yeah.
Some of our staff, we kind of incubate this.
Yeah. Everybody gets to do what they want to do. Daniel wanted to learn how to run a company. And
It's going to take a while. It's going to take a while.
yeah, he's only 17. Look at him. But anyway, but everybody's doing what they want to do. Well, not so much Max. He's working a lot more than he wants to. But
We're getting there.
yeah,
It's about to cool off, bud.
Yeah, it's true.
but it's true, right? Gavin, you're doing what you want to do. Rassi over there behind the camera, he's doing what he wants to do, right? It's getting to do what you're passionate about.
Yeah, I think that definitely separates you from a lot of people that are kind of forced into roles, especially like small business owners that, you know, kind of do everything for the company. They're forced to do the sales, the marketing, the running the company, the accounting, like everything.
Yeah.
But so, yeah, the biggest strength that y'all have, I think, is, like you said, everybody gets to do what they're really good at and what they're passionate
Yeah,
about.
everybody at this table was doing everything.
Yeah, it sucked.
Yeah, dude, who would have thought starting a business now that you had to be a media manager? Like, you can't start a business if you don't have Instagram and you're not doing social media stuff.
There's enough
Exactly.
content out there about what it takes to, even for one man or one woman show, right? It's a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, I used to come home at the end of a long day and then spend another
went
2
home?
hours. Yeah, I did go home.
You got to go home?
Well, sometimes I slept in the shop, but
There it is.
But then you'd spend another hour, 2 hours, or 3 hours trying to figure out what to write on your post, or what picture, or how to photograph it better.
Yeah.
You know, and then you go out and buy better equipment. So, yeah, that's why this is great. Everybody's playing to their strengths.
Exactly. Yeah. What was that transition like from the corporate world to starting your own company from the ground up? You can talk about this too, because you worked, you know, with other shops and things like that. But yeah, what was that transition like from, you know, pretty steady job, having a task to do, getting it done, to, all right, you're all on your own?
Terrifying.
Yeah.
Yeah, completely and utter terrifying. You have no security. You have no blanket. You have, now, different people have different situations, and maybe their finances were a little bit different than mine, but you know, circumstances were as such. And I just know that for my entire life, I loved cars and I loved people, and I couldn't shy away from what I kept gravitating towards my entire life. Even in the corporate world, I was still polishing cars and detailing stuff for people and creating a name for myself. Oh, Kurt's the guy. Go talk to him. He knows what he's doing. I just gave up on fighting that and trying to say, you know, that I'm something that I'm not. This is who I am. And as soon as I gave to that and really started living who my authentic self was, my whole life changed. So,
Very cool.
Man, I loved it. It was scary, difficult, but it gave me a motivation I never had working for anybody else. It was I felt freed. It was like I am in charge of how successful I am or how unsuccessful I am. So, oh man, it was awesome. I mean, it's just like, that's why I don't need an alarm to get up or anything like that. It's just I'm excited to get the day going. Before, it was always like my destiny was too tied to someone else's job. It was too tied to someone else doing their job, or a manager having a good day or having a bad day. So it kind of gave me that freedom to just be myself and do what I love doing.
Yeah.
and how many people come up to you, Silvio, and it goes for everybody at the table, and asks you about being an entrepreneur? They're like, how do you do it? How do you get up every day? I mean, it doesn't matter what you do, if you're a business owner doing roofs or yards or whatever, but I think it takes a certain type of person to pursue that, as opposed to, you know, punching a clock maybe at a corporate job.
Entrepreneurship is not for everybody, yeah.
To me, it's just about wanting more. That's kind of what it really boils down to. I just wanted more. And like being a dealership, or it's essentially corporate dealerships, it's just wanted more. And you can't do it there because, again, it's depending on other people. You know, sometimes it's depending on someone to get promoted so another job opens, right? Or someone to do bad at their job so you can take their job. So it was too dependent on that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. That reminds me of a phrase that I heard. It's called, it went like, why try to climb the corporate ladder when you can own the ladder? I thought that was a pretty cool way to put that, and like kind of what you were saying, like not necessarily playing the corporate game of like trying to get to where you want to be, but just being where you want to be and growing your own future. So
yeah, I did a lot of race support when I worked at a dealership and other shops where I did a lot of track support. So I was around very successful people because they get to race Porsche. So most of the time you're very successful before you can do that. So I always kind of ask people, I'm like, how do you do this? Like, how do you become so successful? How do I get a cup car and come out and race to have someone else support my vehicle? And it was pretty universal across everybody that I talked to. Was always like, well, you'll never be successful doing it for someone else.
Wow.
Yeah. So it just kind of stuck with me forever.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want to hear from everybody. What was kind of the one piece of advice or one phrase that kind of stuck with you that's helped you through this journey? Like he just said, like, you'll never get where you want to be working for somewhere else. For me, it was always be a student. You never want to stop learning. I think that really helps me to keep driving forward. So is there a phrase like that for each of you that you have?
I don't really have a phrase.
Or an idea, I guess.
Yeah, but my background's a little bit different than everyone here. I started when I was 16 working for myself, and I never wanted to work for anyone else. So I always knew that, this is what I have to do. I need to get up every day. I need to work my ass off. There is no plan B. So, looking back at like 5 years ago or even 6 months ago, where I was, that's what motivates me, is seeing, hey, 5 years ago, my employees drove their own cars. I washed cars out of my Infiniti G35. Now we've got a van here, 2 trucks over in Fort Worth. So that's what motivates me, is looking back.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Cody, what about you?
Well, as you guys all know, I've never known anything except work for myself. 30 plus years, 35 years now of just working for myself. And so I think it's one of the things you guys like about me is I don't know any different, right? To me, this is just what we're doing, and we aren't going to fail, and that's it. I could give some eloquent speech that just be bullshit. The bottom line is one foot in front of the other, and Silvio's got a great saying: we never turn around and look back. We're focused forward all of the time, and one foot in front of the other. And there's going to be good days, there's going to be bad days. But I'll promise you, these are better days than you're ever going to have working for somebody else.
100%. Yeah, I don't really have a saying or anything.
Well,
that I
Danny,
follow.
you've always been you've had some jobs like I did when I was in
Oh,
college.
I've had tons of jobs. Yeah, but
career-wise,
it's basically been for myself, and I think I don't have a saying or something, but it's a feeling that I chase. It's a high, if you will. Doing the PDR thing it was as good as you could fix, right? Everybody. There are a lot of PDR guys. There are shops that say we'll get you 80% or 90%. I never wanted those numbers. I wanted 100. Now, I never got 100. I'm fine admitting that, but I chased 100 every time. I never got to where I was like, oh, it's good enough or whatever. So everything that I do in life, whether it be work-related, the car thing, the wife, kid, everything that I can give, I want 100%. And so that's always been my driving factor. With the PPF thing, we're playing a game of millimeters. Where edges are, where we roll things like that, it is millimeters. There are a ton of great shops. Well, I will say good and great shops. But to rise above all of that, you're playing with tiny, tiny little millimeters, and that's a game that I like chasing. I like just doing the littlest bit more.
I like it too, but we tear a lot of film off. I can tell you that.
Yeah.
in pursuit of it.
It's not for the weak. It is not for the weak.
Yeah. You get
associated with chasing perfection.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah. Guys, that's kind of become our motto, right? Chasing perfection we never achieve, right? Silvio's the same way. It's like, and the reason that I say Silvio's the same way. We were working on wiring or something yesterday, and Silvio's like, no. You need this connector. You need to do this. And, and sometimes your employees look at you like, well, no one's going to see that. It doesn't matter if no one's going to see that. It has to be done right. If it comes out of this shop, it has to be done right. It has to be done the right way, because you never know when somebody might tear that car apart and say, hey, where'd you get this done? It looks terrible. Or, hey, whoever did that did a good job,
Well, I'm definitely a judge of that. I've taken lots of cars apart and just been like, look at this hack. He couldn't even cut the zip tie correctly, So it's like, so I look at those things, and so that's how I've learned to do the things that I do because of that, just because of learning from looking at other people's mistakes and telling myself like, these guys didn't know what they were doing, It's like, if the zip tie is not cut perfectly flush, like what kind of a mechanic could that be,
I think that plays into, striving for perfection.
Yeah.
I always, when I had my place, I always wanted my competitors to only say good things about my work, right? And I think everybody at this table feels the same way. I want to give no reason why somebody should critique what it is that we put out. So it's hard sometimes to do things the right. It's not hard to do things the right way. It can be challenging to execute at that highest level each and every time. But that's what we do day in and day out.
Well,
and it makes a difference.
What I preach to you guys is the difference between an average shop and our shop is only 5 or 10%. It's not like it's 50% better than everybody else's work. Just that 5 or 10%. Max, in your case, just putting the right lines in the mats, guys, you hear me every day talk about it's all about the little things. Everything in life comes down to the little things, whether it's parenting or business or whatever it is. But we're just 5 or 10% better than our competitors, and that's what levels us up, as I like to say. And Daniel, you're right. There's a couple of other guys in Dallas that are fantastic at PPF. Yeah. But we're as good as they are, and we want to be better. Are we better every day than they are? Probably not. But it's that little 5 or 10% that we are after, and it's just more effort.
That's it. We're just willing to
and
chase
film.
That's it.
It's a lot of film. Or in Kurt's case, lots of pads and towels. And
It's a lot of extra.
Yeah.
It's just extra. That's what it is.
But yeah, not many people will do that, like y'all are saying. Like it's just little things. Nobody really wants to sacrifice that much film. They'll get it how it needs to be. And
you can take Max's world, which I lived in for years. In the mobile detailing realm, most businesses will use inferior products to maximize margins. Mm-hmm. And those products aren't designed to work the best on these types of cars, right? And so when you're spending good money to buy great products, and then you got to charge, now you have to speak to it. So you got to be able to be confident in what you do, confident in what you're providing. And I think everybody at this table is 100% confident in what we do, how we do it. And when people walk in the door, it's not a matter of like, well, how much? It's just, when's it getting done?
I mean, Dan, you had the great example yesterday, right? Guy spent $10,000 on PPF on his Lambo, and he walked around that car, and there was a bunch of things he found that was wrong. The difference was he looked at Daniel and said, "This is phenomenal. These little marks here, I realize you can't fix most of them, but I just want to go over them with you.
Yep.
But this work exceeds my expectations more than it's far better than I expected, and I didn't realize why I was spending what I was spending until we walked around this car. And he was pointing out things that were mostly imperfections with the factory paint. They weren't things that Daniel's team caused or Kurt's team caused. But as he's walking around, to hear somebody say, "Now I get it why I paid you what I paid you."
Yeah.
And he's pointing out little things, and he looks at Daniel and goes, "I realize you're not going to be able to fix most of these things, but I just want to point them out."
That was it. Yeah. That experience, though, being able to walk a car that closely, I mean, we literally just handed him a roll of tape and said, "What do you see?" And not in a rude way. It was like, "This is your vehicle. This is your investment. You paid me to make it as beautiful as we can. What do you think?" And to be able to walk around a vehicle with him, watch the tape, talk with him and all that, but for him to recognize how many great things were on the vehicle, how great the work was awesome. I don't know that there's a lot of shops that are comfortable doing that, walking an entire vehicle inch for inch with the customer and talking to every choice that was made.
We do it every time.
And that's just normal because we do it to the highest level that we can,
I'm just not ashamed of your work.
I'm not. And the guys that we have doing the work on the team is the same way. Yeah. Like they are just a little bit crazy, just like the rest of us. They want to do. they want to do a job that they can be proud of.
We could go down a rabbit hole with this, but
let's not.
Yeah, we're not going to. But the price comes into the equation, right? So when you charge a premium, and that's the expectation, then we can adjust. We can do these things. When you're giving away your work, you're not, as an owner or as an employee, you're not going to want to chase this. You're not going to want to make it better. You're not going to want to create a better experience for the client. you've got your money, and that's as good as we're going to give you, and out the door. And that is the differentiator between us and so many other businesses here in DFW, right? Is we have the ability to stop and do those things to ensure that client leaves happy, right? He was happy, but he really just wanted to walk the car with you and be happier.
Well,
right?
yeah, and Kurt, if you do full PPF for $4,000, first of all, you're a freaking moron if you do a full for $4,000. But if you do a full for $4,000, they're going to expect $4,000 worth of work, and you can get away with half-assed work. But charge them 10, they're going to expect phenomenal work, and that's what we deliver. What these idiots that charge $4,000 don't understand is if you charge 10 instead of 4, you can give them way more attention, way better quality, way better everything. Because if it takes an extra 2 or 3 hours to QC that car or a full day, it's no big deal.
More film.
More film, more days, more help.
Labor,
means nothing.
more man hours.
Means nothing to us.
And
Nothing.
you give the customer such a better product.
Yeah.
I've seen those $4,000 jobs that you're talking about where they'll cut corners.
Yeah.
Obviously, the film, the laying itself is bad, but then there's things that don't get wrapped.
When you charge less, you simply deliver less, and you have less expectations from your clients. That is all you will ever be. If you do $4,000 fulls, you're stuck in that rut forever.
I've got just a quick story. One of a guy.
There's no such thing as a quick story with Kurt.
Not with Kurt. Not with me. All right. I set that up for you guys to make fun of me.
We go to a bathroom break.
Silvio, grab a donut.
Here we go. Story number 1. One of my wealthiest clients that I've had the privilege to work with for a long time. This was 4 or 5 years ago. I remember he had a garage space across from mine, and I didn't really know the guy. He asked me, "You're the car wash guy." I was like, "Well, I'm the artist, okay?" And he's like, "You wash
Formerly
cars."
known as Kurt.
Yeah, formerly known as Kurt. And I looked at his garage and I said, "You've got close to $1 million worth of cars in there." I said, he goes, "Well, how much to wash?" And I gave him a price. It was like $600. And he just looked at me befuddled, right? And so he pulled out money, handed me $600. I could tell he was bothered by that.
Yeah.
And I walked over to his cars and I said, "I can tell that." And he goes, "I pay $50 to have these washed." And I said, "I can tell. You got $1 million in 3 vehicles. Why are you having them washed for $50? They're using the wrong stuff." So anyway, he went to pick up one of the cars and I left a $100 bill in there, right? And he stopped, came back, handed me he goes, "This is yours." And he's like, "Why did you do that?" I go, it's not the money I'm after. It's your trust." And from then on, I became his guy. And the money didn't matter to him. He needed to see value in what we did.
Yeah.
Right? So we have those opportunities every day. Silvio, Max, Cody, everybody at this table has the opportunity to create a new experience for somebody. And I think that is what we live for each and every day.
Yeah.
That's the exciting part.
Anybody can work on a Porsche, but only a few guys can work on it like Silvio can do it.
And talk to the customer the same way Silvio talks to him.
And have a girlfriend that can talk just like he does to the customers as well. I mean, guys, that's the difference. It's not the why we do what we do. It's how we do, what
Let's
we
not
do.
give away all our secrets.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't matter if we give away our secrets because most people are lazy, and that's exactly what. I hope somebody listens to this podcast, gets motivated, and goes out and kicks ass. I'd love to have another high-quality competitor. That'd be fine with us.
Our secret's pretty easy. Just don't suck.
Too good, don't suck.
Yeah.
Pretty good, actually.
It's pretty solid advice.
Yes, and guys, it isn't that anybody.
Hey, man.
It isn't that anybody at this table's better than everybody else. We just try harder than everybody else. That's what matters.
Yeah,
That's it.
absolutely. All right, well, that's all the time that we have today. Thank you so much for being here, guys.
Yeah,
Yeah, absolutely.
that was pretty.
Did I get some outro music?
That should be
Thanks.
pretty good.
Thanks for having me on today.
There it is.
Appreciate that.
Hope you've been fluffed.
The fluffing.
The fluffing.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
You think the guys next time?